There was a beggar who lived at a railway station in a city. He survived by begging from passengers on the trains that arrived and departed from the station. One day, while begging, he saw a tall man in a suit. The beggar thought the man looked very wealthy and that he might receive a good amount of money if he begged from him. He approached the tall man and asked for alms. The man, seeing the beggar, said, "You always ask for things, but do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I only ask people for alms. How can I possibly give anything to anyone?" The tall man said, "If you can't give anything to anyone, then you have no right to ask for anything. I am a businessman, and I believe in give and take. If you have something to give me, only then can I give you something in return." Saying this, the tall man boarded the train and left. The beggar was deeply affected by the man's words. He thought, maybe the reason I don't get much money from begging is because I don't give anything in return. But I am just a beggar. I have nothing to give anyone. How long will I keep asking without giving anything in return? After much thought, the beggar decided that he would give something to anyone who gave him alms. However, he was puzzled about what he could give, as he was just a beggar. He spent 2 days thinking about it, but found no answer. On the third day, while sitting near the station, he noticed some flowers blooming on plants around the station. He thought, why don't I give flowers to people in exchange for alms? He liked the idea and plucked some flowers. When he went to beg on the train, he gave flowers to those who gave him alms. People happily accepted the flowers and kept them. Now, the beggar would collect flowers daily and distribute them in exchange for alms. Within a few days, he noticed that many more people were giving him alms. He would gather all the flowers around the station and receive many alms as long as he had flowers to give. However, when the flowers ran out, he wouldn't get any alms. This routine continued until one day, he saw the same tall man sitting in the train. The beggar hurriedly approached him and said, "Today, I have something to give you. If you give me alms, I will give you some flowers in return." The tall man gave him some money as alms, and the beggar gave him some flowers. The tall man was very pleased and said, "Wow, today you've become a businessman like me." The tall man got off at his station, but his words once again deeply affected the beggar. He kept thinking about what the man had said and felt very happy. His eyes sparkled as he realized that he had found the key to success. He got off the train and looked up at the sky, shouting, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman." People around him thought he had gone mad. From the next day, the beggar was never seen at the station again. 6 months later, 2 well-dressed men were traveling at the same station. They recognized each other and shook hands. One man asked, "Do you remember me?" The other replied, "No, we are meeting for the first time." The first man said, "No, think again. We are meeting for the third time." The second man said, "I don't remember. When did we meet the first 2 times?" The first man smiled and said, "We met twice before on this train. I am the same beggar whom you taught what to do in life during our first meeting, and during our second meeting, you told me who I really am." The second man smiled in astonishment and said, "Oh, I remember. You are the same beggar I once refused to give alms to, and the second time I bought flowers from you. But why are you in this suit today, and what are you doing these days?" The first man replied, "Yes, I am that same beggar. But today, I am a big flower merchant, and I am traveling to another city for business." After a brief pause, he continued, "You told me about the law of nature in our first meeting, that we get only when we give. This rule of give and take really works. I always considered myself a beggar and never thought beyond that. When we met the second time, you told me I had become a businessman. I realized then that I was indeed a businessman, not a beggar. People were not giving me alms. They were buying my flowers because they couldn't find cheaper flowers anywhere else. I was just a small trader in their eyes. After understanding this, I used the money I earned from distributing flowers on the train to buy more flowers and became a flower merchant. People here love flowers, and their love for flowers has made me a big flower merchant today. Both businessmen were happy and got off at the station, discussing their respective trades and moving forward. Friends, this story teaches us a lot. The tall merchant knew the rule of give and take very well. All the big merchants in the world have succeeded using this rule of life. He shared this rule with the beggar, who adopted this natural law, and it had a visible impact on his life. He changed his thinking and changed his life. This story tells us that if we change our thinking, we can achieve anything. If we continue to think small, we will always remain small. To become big, we need to change our thinking and think big about ourselves. The essence of the story is that success is hidden in your mindset. Awaken your self-esteem, think big, and see how you reach the pinnacle of success.